If you are over the age of 60 and you use an ATM or a debit card, there is a court notice that has just been released that you need to know about right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Because what this notice contains directly affects how your money is protected, what your rights are when something goes wrong at an ATM, and what the Social Security Administration and federal courts are saying about the financial safety of older Americans in 2026. Millions of seniors across this country have no idea this notice exists, and that ignorance is costing some of them their entire life savings. Do not let that be you. Stay with us because every word of what we are about to share could protect your financial security. Welcome to SSA Benefits Alert, the channel dedicated to keeping older Americans informed, protected, and empowered with the financial and legal information that matters most. Today we are covering an urgent update that affects every American over the age of 60 who uses any form of electronic banking, ATM access, or debit card transactions. A court notice has been released that changes the legal landscape around ATM fraud, senior financial protection, and the responsibilities of financial institutions toward older customers. We are breaking it all down for you right now so you know exactly what has changed, what your rights are, and what you need to do immediately. Let us start with the big picture. Financial fraud targeting Americans over 60 has reached levels that federal authorities are describing as a national crisis. The FBI, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and the Social Security Administration have all issued warnings in recent months about the dramatic increase in financial crimes specifically aimed at older Americans. We are talking about ATM skimming devices that steal your card information without you ever knowing. We are talking about phone scams where criminals pretend to be Social Security Administration officials and convince seniors to withdraw cash or transfer funds. We are talking about grandparent scams, romance scams, investment fraud, and a dozen other sophisticated schemes that are draining the savings of older Americans at a rate that should alarm every single person watching this video. The court notice that has just been released addresses this crisis directly. It stems from a series of federal cases in which older Americans who were victims of ATM fraud and electronic banking fraud challenged the decisions of their banks to deny reimbursement for fraudulent transactions. The courts have now issued binding guidance that changes how financial institutions must treat fraud claims from customers over 60, and the implications are enormous. The first and most significant element of the court notice concerns the standard of liability for banks when a senior customer's account is accessed fraudulently. Under the previous legal framework, banks routinely denied fraud claims by arguing that because the customer's card and PIN were used in the transaction was presumed to be authorized and the bank bore no responsibility for the resulting loss. This left countless older Americans with no recourse after losing thousands of dollars to sophisticated fraud schemes that obtained their card details and PIN numbers without their knowledge or genuine consent. The court notice rejects this approach for customers over 60. It establishes that financial institutions cannot simply hide behind the technical fact that a correct card and PIN were used when the broader circumstances of the transaction strongly suggest fraudulent activity. Banks are now required to demonstrate that they had adequate fraud detection systems in place, that those systems were functioning properly, and that the transaction pattern did not trigger warning signs that should have prompted the bank to contact the customer before processing the transaction. If a bank cannot demonstrate these things, the liability for the fraudulent loss may fall on the institution rather than the customer. The second element of the court notice addresses what are called suspicious transaction patterns. Federal courts have now established clear standards for what kinds of ATM and electronic banking activity should trigger automatic fraud alerts for customers over 60. These include large cash withdrawals that are unusual for the customer's typical transaction history. Multiple ATM withdrawals in a short period of time, particularly at machines far from the customer's usual location. Transactions occurring at unusual hours, particularly late at night or in the early hours of the morning. And any transaction that follows a pattern consistent with known elder fraud schemes, such as a series of withdrawals that appear to be structured to avoid reporting thresholds. If your bank systems detected or should have detected these patterns and failed to contact you before the transactions were completed, the court notice establishes that you may have grounds to demand reimbursement even if the bank previously denied your claim. The third element of the notice concerns the Social Security Administration's role in protecting seniors from financial exploitation. the SSA has announced new coordination efforts with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and federal law enforcement agencies to identify cases where Social Security benefits are being stolen or diverted through electronic fraud. If your Social Security benefits are deposited directly into a bank account, and that account is subsequently accessed fraudulently, there are now enhanced federal protections and faster recovery mechanisms available to you that did not exist before this court notice was released. So what does all of this mean for you practically? And what should you do right now? The first thing you need to do is contact your bank and ask them directly what fraud protection measures they have implemented for customers over 60 in response to the new court guidance. Ask them specifically what their process is for flagging suspicious ATM transactions on your account. Ask what their policy is for reimbursing seniors who are victims of ATM fraud. And ask them to confirm that your account is enrolled in any available fraud alert notification service. If your bank cannot answer these questions clearly and satisfactorily, that is a serious warning sign about how well protected your money actually is. The second step is to check your bank statements immediately and carefully. Look at every transaction from the past 90 days and flag anything you do not recognize, no matter how small. Fraudsters frequently test accounts with tiny transactions before making larger withdrawals, and catching this pattern early can prevent catastrophic losses. If you find anything suspicious, report it to your bank immediately and follow up in writing so you have a paper trail of your complaint. The third step is to be absolutely vigilant about your PIN security. Never share your PIN with anyone who contacts you, regardless of who they claim to be. The Social Security Administration will never call you and ask for your banking information or your PIN. The IRS will never demand immediate payment via ATM withdrawal. Anyone who tells you otherwise is attempting to defraud you. The fourth step is to file a report with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau if you believe your bank has denied a legitimate fraud claim unfairly. Given the new court guidance, previously denied claims may now be worth revisiting, and the CFPB has the authority to investigate and take action against financial institutions that are not complying with their legal obligations to protect older customers. Thank you so much for watching today. If SSA Benefits Alert has given you information that could protect your financial security, please subscribe right now and hit the notification bell so you never miss a critical update. Share this video with every American over 60 that you know, because this court notice is too important for any senior to miss. At SSA Benefits Alert, we are here every single day making sure you have the knowledge you need to protect the benefits and the savings you have worked your whole life to build. Until next time, stay alert, know your rights, and never let anyone take what belongs to you.